Over the next few days, I'm going to be releasing 3 videos. All of them, including this one, will donate 100% of their YouTube ad revenue to charity. That is for 2 reasons. The first is that it wouldn't be right for me to earn money from those videos. You'll see why tomorrow. The second reason relates to the worst day of my life, June 2nd, 2024. This is the trigger warning part. Today's video discusses infant mortality. It is not required viewing. You don't have to watch this. It's just to provide context for some things you might hear me talk about in the future. It's also a way to talk about stuff which we don't talk about often that we probably should talk about more, and you'll see as we move on. About 8 months ago, my sister called me to tell me she was pregnant. She is an incredible person, her partner is an incredible person. It was a really exciting time. About a month after that, we found out that she was having twins, which was a bit of a shock, because twins don't run in my family, and I'm given to understand that twins usually run in families. We've got a big family, and everyone was excited and was ready to help, even with 2 babies rather than just 1. A few months after that, maybe 5 months ago, we also found out that one of the babies had a congenital diaphragmatic hernia, or CDH. It's a condition where your diaphragm has a hernia, and it affects the way a baby's lungs develop. Because the baby's lung doesn't develop typically, it means the other organs that are growing often move around to fill the space where the lung would normally be. CDH has about a 50% outlook, which is a nice way of saying a 50% survival rate. The doctors and hospital staff explained what might happen, and we started receiving support from CDH UK, which is a charity that prepares families for every eventuality and offers support. The twin with CDH would need to survive being born and then have surgery immediately to correct the hole in his diaphragm and rejiggle around his organs so everything is where it needs to be. Obviously, it was a nerve-wracking time, but I reacted strangely, honestly. I felt quite good. I felt very optimistic. I just had a vibe that everything was going to be fine. I was certain, in fact, with absolutely no basis at all, in part because I didn't realize how serious the condition was. I was mostly nervous for my sister's sake, obviously. It is hard enough carrying twins, and it was a terrifying thing to have looming over the pregnancy. I also had to leave the country during the time the twins were due to be born. They were to be delivered by a C-section on a date set by the hospital. I was recording in New Zealand with Viva La Dirt League at that time. And it's while I'm out there, I start getting some really weird symptoms. Extreme abdominal pain, and I just wasn't sleeping. And even though I felt fine emotionally, it was most likely stress-related symptoms, which was odd. I've never felt like that before. I was in a good mood generally when I was out in New Zealand, except for, at times, crippling pain. When the Viva La Dirt League video comes out, which is hopefully quite soon, it's being edited now, I think I was on like 6 hours sleep from the past 3 days. I actually had to rearrange our initial session 0 with them because I was so ill. Like, there was no way I could record in that state at that time. It is a testament to Viva La Dirt League that they adapted so well, and that we rearranged and they made characters, and the game went off so perfectly. They are such incredible players and such wonderful and understanding people, and so effortlessly funny, that it made running that game so easy. I'm incredibly grateful to them for that. We recorded the game on Tuesday, May 28th, and the twins were born on May 30th. That was the day I was flying home. I had to board a plane for a 30-hour flight with no signal and wait to see if I was coming home to my nephews or not. And thanks to the incredible work of the doctors and nurses, and the bravery and strength of my sister, and a ridiculous amount of luck, both twins were born, Atticus and Luther Johnson. Atticus was the one with CDH, and he was immediately taken into the neonatal intensive care unit. That's where he stayed, awaiting surgery, breathing via machines. Over this time, I hadn't really told anyone about this. I told Alan, the dungeon coach, because I had a video to make about DC20, and if Atticus died, I wasn't going to get it done. I told the folks at Loot Tavern, who are just family after making Ryoko's together, because obviously if anything happened, I'd need to take a step back from Ryoko's fulfillment. Although, that was pretty much done at that point anyway. I met my nephews on June 2nd, which was the first time I properly realized what had been at stake. And it changed my life, actually. I saw my sister, a new mother, holding this baby. There he was. And it hit me that we're not special, that there are millions of mothers just like her and families just like us who, they're no different. They just didn't get lucky. It was a coin flip, and there's no reason Atticus is alive and other babies. It is only thanks to the work of nurses and surgeons and researchers who look into these diseases that babies with CDH even get a coin flip at all. Atticus and Luther are fine. They came home after a month in intensive care at hospital, which is a long time to be at hospital. The reason their parents were able to get through it was thanks to CDH UK, who provided support before the birth and were ready with hospice care after the birth had things gone the other way. Also, the Sick Children's Trust, who gave my sister and her partner a place to stay right next to the hospital while their children were in intensive care. That let them be beside their children while the surgery and, thankfully, the recovery took place. CDH UK and the Sick Children's Trust are the two charities that the next run of videos will be in support of, because of what they did for my family and what they do for thousands of families. I learned a lot of stuff over the last 2 months. I learned that the infant mortality rate in the US is a little over 5%. That's 1 in 200. Whether you know it or not, you know people who have lost children. I also learned that just because some babies can't stay doesn't mean we don't love them and cherish the time we get with them. And I learned that there are millions of people fighting every day to support families going through this stuff. I aim to do a lot more for charity moving forward, and to use my power when I vote to keep healthcare as accessible for everyone as possible and support the people who provide it. These are the people who take care of our children and who take care of us when we're at our most vulnerable. I'm also grateful every day that we live in the time that we live. 100 years ago, this was common. This was ordinary. Infant mortality was over 16% in the US. In a way, the shock of infant mortality is a privilege. Charities like Sick Children's Trust and CDH UK, who raise awareness, support families, and further research into diseases that affect children, are in part responsible for lowering that percentage. Neither charity is set up on YouTube, which mostly supports American charities. So if you would like to support a charity today or over the next few days, you can do so by following the link below the video. The featured fundraiser across these videos is for Children International, a charity with 4 out of 4 100% rating on Charity Navigator. They support children across the world, not only infants, but all the way through childhood. This is a wonderful charity to support. Alternatively, there are links to the Sick Children's Trust and CDH UK in the description if you'd like to give to them directly. I hope this video isn't too much of a downer. I'm very happy and relieved. I've dodged bullets all my life. I can honestly say I've never known a luckier person. But that's all I am. Lucky. And there are people who didn't get lucky, and I want to do what I can for them. Which is frustratingly little, I know. I'm not a surgeon or a nurse, but together we can save lives. For me, this was a significant enough moment in my life to justify talking about it and to explain why I'm supporting these charities in particular. Don't worry, we're back to stupid, silly Dungeons & Dragons videos starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is interesting in its own right, but it's definitely more upbeat. We are definitely back to D&D videos coming out for the 3rd and 4th video in this charity run. Okay, thanks for listening. Please consider donating to charity. Maybe you're rich and $100 doesn't mean that much to you, but it could save someone's life. If you don't have anything to give right now, consider lending your voice in support of accessible healthcare and in support of caregivers wherever you live. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.